Hi guys, welcome back to Vintage Story. Now we have just come out of October and today is the 5th of November. Now in England this is bonfire night and bonfire day. In the 1600s there was a huge fight going on between the Catholics and the Protestants, and the Catholics had a plot which is known as the gunpowder plot, to try to replace the government and to take it over. And ever since then we have celebrated by burning Guy Fawkes in effigy and letting off fireworks instead of the barrels of gunpowder that did not explode. And we have a little rhyme, which is remember, remember, the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. And gunpowder treason is the reason this should never be forgot. So, now that November the 5th is here and Halloween is over, I thought it was time to think about Christmas. Now this does not look very Christmassy, does it? I ought to be starting this in the snow biomes, but the thought of trying to talk to you while the wolves kill me is actually not terribly attractive. So I decided I would do a little Christmas wish list. Let's just shut that in case anything creeps up behind me. So this is my Dear Santa list, except it's not a Dear Santa list. This is a Dear Saraty and Tyron list. I must take a screenshot of this. It's so pretty. Right, let us start. Now I thought we have I know that in the States and in England we have a song called the 12 Days of Christmas. On the 12th day of, no, on the first day of Christmas my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. I am not, you will be relieved to hear, going to try and base this whole episode on that. But the first one was quite interesting. It sort of fitted in a bit. So my first thing on the Christmas list is bamboo. I have bamboo saplings and I want to put one in a big planter and one in a little planter. And I can't because bamboo doesn't go into planters. So number one on my list is I would like bamboo to go into planters. You know, there are people who are asking for world generations, oceans, seasons, and vast, complicated programming things. Me? I just want to be able to put my bamboo in a pot. Now the other thing is that I have left some space at the end here. Now I know that I haven't found the California poppies yet because I haven't found a true desert. But Saraty, I saw that you'd done some beautiful, beautiful designs for lupins. And I think we need some lupins in here, don't you guys? Because those would be beautiful. And also Saraty's colour palette is different from mine. It's very much into the yellows, greens, oranges, anything with yellow in. My colour palette tends to be very much grey and blue. And with that in mind, if there was any chance of a cornflower, I would absolutely love it. So basically what I would like, number two, more flowers. Now let's go down here, because I want to go and have a look at our woods. And again, if you think about the sort of colour palette I like, these woods reflect Saraty's colour palette. This is pale, but it's still a bit pinky. It's not a true white wood. Oak is okay. We have a bit of a green with maple, and this acacia is gorgeous. I mean, the woods we have are beautiful. But I feel the need, guys, for two more trees. Now, one of them is I really feel I haven't got a dark enough wood. So we've got darkness on the edge of the oak. We've got a bit of darkness, this lovely dark grey here on the maple log. I would like something blackish grey. And I was thinking that maybe a cedar tree. We don't have any trees with blue-grey leaves. And there are some wonderful cedars. I've actually sent Saraty one, which is called a cedar of Lebanon. During the Middle Ages, a lot of people went on the Crusades, which was the Christians trying to retake Jerusalem. And it was regarded, when they got to Jerusalem, to the Lebanon, to that area, they found these wonderful cedar trees called the Cedars of Lebanon. And they became very, very much a symbol of status and religion. There are very few English churchyards that do not have a cedar of Lebanon. There are very few large parks dating back to that era that do not have a cedar of Lebanon. And in fact, we have put so many in the UK, and the Lebanon has destroyed so many of their trees that there are now more cedars of Lebanon in the UK than there are in the Lebanon. But they are beautiful trees, and it would be nice if they had a dark bark. Now, I don't know what an ebony tree looks like, but I would be very, very happy to have an ebony tree, not a cedar of Lebanon. I just want something with a nice dark blue wood, or even a purplish wood would be nice, but certainly something dark would be good. Now, the other thing is that I come from the UK, and I live in a gentle country. It's hard to see this lake, isn't it, in this? Can I get through some of the night? This is where I use my moon bridge. Where is the moon? Well, we can get through some of the night anyway. Let's just do a quick sleep. But I was talking about being in England, and not am I just in England. I'm in southern England. It's a wonderfully gentle place. We don't have anything like a hill. We have the downs, which would be sort of mere bumps in the landscape to most people. But what I feel I'm missing here are willow trees. Not just willow trees, but weeping willow trees. In England, we have the most beautiful, beautiful weeping willow trees. They are a little bit more yellow in colour than the trees we've got, and their branches hang down. Now, I know that we can do this sort of thing because you can see on the big oak tree over there that the branches are hanging down. So I know that Saraty can design trees where they have branches that hang down and the vines hang down. But I do feel that there is a lack of a graceful weeping tree, and I think willow would be beautiful. And coming back to woods, if it had a slightly greener wood, and you have to remember that I'm a person who was completely addicted to Life in the Woods, which was a mod for Minecraft, and it had the most beautiful trees and woods in it, the original one. So this isn't really quite green enough for me, but it's not so much the colour of the wood in this one. It's actually that I really, really want a graceful, drooping tree that grows by water. Now, talking by water, and I know a lot of you will say, why don't you put the ideas on the forums? Well, it's just so much fun to do it in this way. Now, talking of water, we have some beautiful, beautiful lakes, and already they are not barren because they have got, as you can see down here, they've got the lily pads, which I think should flower, and they've got the seagrass. So flowering lily pads, I know that Saraty's thought of this, but having the lilies flower, and we've got bulrushes. So when you look at a lake like that, they're not the sort of dead lakes that we started off with in Minecraft. But I do think that the idea, which has been mooted, and I know is on the list, of having oysters and mussels that you could collect from the bottom of the lakes would be absolutely wonderful, to have some form of fish. And I don't think that's a difficult one to do in comparison to sort of moving fish, because they would just sit on the bottom of these beautiful lakes, which are lovely already, absolutely lovely. But guys, a few oysters and a few mussels down here would be fantastic, particularly if we could get the odd pearl. It would just add so much to the game to be able to collect things from the lakes. So mussels and oysters are very high on my list. Now, another thing that is high on my list is that I find the caves exceptionally barren. The actual the format of the caves, the way that they generate, is stunning, absolutely stunning. It's a really, really, really good thing. But when you look at the caves, I mean, these caves, I've been down there, there's nothing down there but iron. You have the drifters, which just drop the odd bit of stuff, but you've got these dreadful, dreadful locusts, and they don't drop anything. It's so irritating. Now, everybody knows I'm short of tin, and frankly, watching, I watch Etho. He's playing another round of, where does that go? Over there, of TFC. It's amazing how naive it looks in comparison to this glorious game, Vintage Story. But nonetheless, what I did notice was how much metal there was on the surface that was useful. And I do find a dearth of stuff around here. Now, it may be just the area I'm in, but I would very much like those locusts to drop something, and tin or bismuth would be fantastic. You know, I wouldn't mind if they actually, you know, drop, if you could net them and hang them up to form lights or something, or they dropped some sort of fluorescence. But I'm desperately short of tin. Okay, now the other thing is, talking about blue-grey, these are absolutely beautiful, these bricks. But when you fire these bricks, you're looking at basically one charcoal to one brick, and it is insanely expensive. You spend your entire life just chopping trees down. I really think that the blue clay should be able to be air dried, and I think also that the fire clay that you use in these bloomeries should be able to be air dried. But when you break the bloomeries, you lose the clay, and you have to put even more charcoal and stuff together to get your bloomery back. I was thinking that if you are going to, the air dried bricks should make a bloomery, but I would like to see the charcoal dried bricks, the fire clay, become exceptionally hard, and to have some sort of kiln that does not break and require more bricks all the time. It's just so irritating to have to keep cutting down trees to make bricks. It's completely insane, the amount of time I spend cutting down trees to make bricks. So I would like a permanent kiln. I don't mind spending charcoal and stuff on things like glass. I mean, goodness, guys, look at this beautiful conservatory. I mean, you know, forests died making this. Forests. But it's permanent. Whereas with the bloomery, you're just, you know, decimating the landscape for nothing. You can't keep enough tree farms going to keep all your charcoal needs going once you start really getting into the building side of this. So, air-dried bricks and super hard fire bricks to make a permanent kiln Please, please, can we have that? Okay, now, as somebody who hasn't been able to find tin or bismuth, and I'm not alone in this, other people are having difficulty finding these as well. But I have been lucky enough to find a ruin, and I have been lucky enough to find a black coal and to be able to make bombs. Now, I've got quite a lot of iron here. I've got some zinc, I've got some gold, and I've got some silver. Now, I've not got enough, I don't think, to make any sort of anvil. I reckon that I've got enough bombs, and this is sort of an alternative achievement to mining for tin and bismuth, to actually bomb out the iron I've got in here and the iron I've got all over the place around here. And I don't think there's any way of working iron except to be able to form it into ingots, which I can do in a bloomery, and then to use a bronze anvil. Now, I would love to have an iron anvil. I can't think how it would work, because iron would have to be poured out. Now, I think that these, see, charcoal goes to 1300, and iron, it's 1482 centigrade. Now, I think that I don't have to have the full temperature to be able to work it and pour it. I'm not sure. But otherwise, I have no way of, I've got 1200 there, but basically charcoal is 1300. If I could somehow melt enough iron with charcoal, even though it didn't go to the full melting temperature, would I be able to pour it without it hitting its full temperature? I don't know, but I would love an iron anvil. That may not be possible. But in comparison to people who want continents, weather systems, unbelievable amounts of programming, I think my Christmas list is pretty easy. And some of it is dead simple, and some of it, like lupins, I know is underway already. It's just there. It just needs bringing into the game. So guys, that is my very, very simple Christmas wish. Bye bye.